Jonathan, what's our Mint Mobile hotline today?
Hey guys, this is Tucker calling from San Diego. Just wondering about the chance that if Knives Out debuts and it opens up really well for Netflix, do you think there's any chance that A, they would extend the theatrical window for the theaters and maybe keep Knives Out in theaters even longer and maybe even push back the release on Netflix? And then B, will this lead to them hopefully having more movies be released in theaters for hopefully longer than a week? I just love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot for calling that in, Tucker. And, you know, we were talking a little while ago when the news came out that Netflix was finally going to try a legitimate theatrical release. Now, I say legitimate, not necessarily full-blown, but legitimate. Because what Netflix has done for years is they've played the Oscar contender game, where they have done the bare minimum to qualify their films for Academy Awards. You know, it's got to be released for like 1 week in a theater in Los Angeles where a paying audience can see it. Just the smallest of qualifiers, right? They've done that so they can qualify for the Oscars. But with Knives Out 2, Glass Onion, they are doing a full nationwide release for, what is it, 1 week? A 1 week release.
1 week.
But it's going to be nationwide, which is not something they've ever done before. And then a month after that, that's when it'll go on Netflix. This is something they have never done before. Now, Rob and I have had a debate previously about whether they should just done a full, regular, true, full theatrical release with a month and a half run, whatever, or whether this intermediary step is a good thing. But in asking the question, what's the results of this going to be? Well, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Because I think look, Netflix is doing this for a reason. They're not just doing this because they're bored. They are doing this specifically to see if this is something that will work for us, to see if theatrical, can we start seeing ourselves as a company as being more than just a streaming company? Can we start to look at ourselves as a full-blown, true entertainment production company that is theatrical, television, much like Disney and Warner Brothers? Can they see themselves becoming one of the big studios? And that will all depend on how Glass Onion does. Because if Glass Onion can come out, what did Black Adam just make? Like 60 something, right? Black Adam made 60, starring the biggest movie star in the world, in the hottest genre in the world. All right. If Glass Onion can come out and make like $25, $30 million in its opening weekend, and I'm not giving any predictions here, I'm just saying, if it can come out and make $25, $30 million, there are two radically important things the Netflix executives are going to have to look in the mirror and acknowledge. Number one, this is $25 to $30 million we wouldn't have normally had. That's 25 to 30 free $1 million that are just going straight to Netflix, never would have got us. So there's that. The second thing they're going to have to acknowledge is that, man, if it has that popularity in theaters, when we do launch this thing on Netflix, it's going to have a larger launch than we were projecting. And Rob, that's the second part, right? Step one, they got to have a decent to strong opening weekend. Step two, they got to take whatever they thought Glass Onion would launch on Netflix with, like how many viewing hours it would get, and see if it'll actually have a higher amount of viewing hours than they were anticipating because it had a theatrical release first. Rob, these are the two elements, and only two elements, that are going to determine if Netflix, number one, does this again, and if they expand on it. And I think both will happen. Whether it be 25 to 30, maybe it'll be 20, whatever. But the trailers have looked really good. People loved the first movie. And I think with that success, it will lead to a higher than normal view hour rating when it does launch on Netflix. So I do think this is going to start a trend for them. What do you think is going to happen here? And am I missing anything when I say I think the two elements that will determine it are the opening weekend and its opening on Netflix?
Well, I agree with everything you just said. You know, the debate that we had, and I feel this more now than ever before, is of all the movies that they could try a theatrical strategy with, Glass Onion is probably the best. They've spent over $450 million to make two films, and minus fees, whatever. Let's just be conservative and say that.
Well, they didn't pay $450 million to make two movies.
Right.
They paid $450 million to Ryan Johnson as partners to make them and keep whatever they had left over.
Right, exactly. So, but let's just say that the movies cost. Here's the thing. They're doing this theatrical release. They have a movie, a franchise property that any other studio would make a theatrical release. And yet, to get the information that you stated, which I totally agree with, they're not giving the film a proper wide release. They're putting it in 600 theaters for a week. They do not have the marketing budget that they should. If you look at, I mean, they're opening it over Thanksgiving. I've seen more ads for Avatar 2 that opens 2 months from now in the last 3 days than I have for this. And I think that the information they want, they're not going to get. I mean, maybe they can sit there and go, well, if we fractionalize it out and we extrapolate whatever we do get, that it would be 3 times better. I think that they should have gone all in, and we know what the theatrical model is, how it works, 3,000, 4,000 screens, whatever. I think that they should have gone all in on this particular movie, and it's over a holiday weekend, a holiday time. I mean, they should have followed the successful theatrical model that this most resembles and followed that playbook. And I think only then would they get the data they need. And it's my fear, because everything you said is correct. Exactly the 2 things that they most need to have. They need to see money they're going to make, and did they get a boost in subscribers and viewership for their platform. That's all that matters. But I don't think they're giving themselves, they're not all in enough to get the data they need to make that final decision. I think, like you had said before, it's a good place to start. And I understand that you don't jump in the deep end of the pool. But in this case, the model that they're following is a tried and true one that's been true for decades. And they should just follow it this one time to get the information they need, because whatever data they're going to get is not entirely representative of what the truth is, I don't think.
See, but you pointed out yourself, though. They're going to extrapolate, right?
Yeah.
And I think, like, you got to understand, I come out of the AMC camp, right? So, and at AMC, they had a very hard and fast rule: crawl, walk, run. We do everything short, small steps, and we eventually get, and I saw that company, when it was under better leadership, I saw that company last for 100 years and become the biggest exhibitor in the world with that. Like, I actually think, now look, if they did go, I mentioned this before when we discussed this, if they went full blown, just 2,500 theaters, full theatrical, blah, blah, I would have no problem with that. Like,
sure,
that would be fine to me. That would be fine. But I actually think they're exhibiting a lot of wisdom in saying, okay, this is totally antithetical to what our entire model is. So we are going to do something small. We're going to try this. We're going to stick our toe in, and they will, like you said, they will extrapolate those results. They know they can't look for a $40 or $50 million opening on this. They know that. They know they can't expect to get, $150 million in its full theatrical run because it's only a week. They know all that. So they know they're looking for those incremental numbers. And if they get those incremental numbers, that will embolden them, I think, to do more. The last thing I want to see happen is, because here's the thing. Let's say this glass onion experiment doesn't work, okay? I think they are more likely to continue trying if it didn't work when they just stuck their toe in the water. My fear would be if they just went cannonball, full dive into the pool with it and did a full release, all the marketing, all that kind of stuff, and it didn't work, that they would recoil and do, whoa, we're not doing that again. So I think there's a safety here for them.
I would agree with you if this was an unknown property. But this isn't an unknown property.
Right, but it's also not a comic book property.
No,
right?
But it's a franchise property, and they have the first release of the franchise to look at. And they should at least emulate what that first release is. If nothing else, copy that first release. Because that's what you've got. And you have this tried and true method. It's not like they're trying something that had never been done before.
But
it's just
not
they're
tried
a
and
company.
true. Exactly. That's the point, right? It's not tried and true for them. It's completely antithetical to how they do things.
But it's like if you were going to build a product like, say, a car, you wouldn't build a car that was significantly different than other cars on the road.
No, but you also probably wouldn't make a Lamborghini your first car if it was your first one you're building.
But
you'd probably start with a tricycle with a motor on it.
But this is, as far as franchise properties go, they certainly have spent enough money to make it.
Which I think is why they're going to try it with this property.
Yeah.
I think that's why they're going to do it with this property. But will it get the effects and will it start a trend? I think it will. The answer will really lie with what you and I do about it, with whether we go to check it out when it comes out. Questions for you. How do you feel about this? Do you think this is going to open a floodgate for them? Do you think people will go and check it out? Do you think that will spur Netflix to either embrace it or reject it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding. There isn't one. Mint Mobile just has premium wireless from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find all these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. With my old wireless provider, every month when I opened the bill, it was like playing roulette. I never knew how big the bill was going to be, and it always seemed to get bigger. With Mint Mobile, it's totally different. I know exactly how little I'm paying every month, and there's never any surprises. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. And at Mint Mobile, families start at just 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And guys, you get to use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. So transferring over couldn't be easier. So to get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. You'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea.